Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, the 24th of November. Getting close to Christmas. Very exciting. I hope you had a great weekend. From yesterday, you know that I ran a festive 10K. I was dressed as Father Christmas, giving me a piggyback. Very, very hard to run. So constricted on my legs. And I ended up doing a time of 46:46, which is a breeze for me, even though I guess for some people that would be a good time. But I actually felt yesterday, because I'd only done 10K and then I went to meet up with people afterwards in the pub, I felt that I'd not done enough yesterday, and I was on a little bit of a downer. Not that it was only for a couple of hours where I was just a bit in a lower mood than usual. I think it was a couple of things, not having my usual long run on a Sunday that my body craves for and is used to. I also don't like being down the pub. I didn't drink. I had one lager shandy, which is unusual for me, but I think just that whole atmosphere of being down the pub, it just didn't feel productive for me. And so it didn't put me in the best frame of mind. But by the time I got home, I was back on song, and then I listened to a Napoleon Hill first thing this morning about motivation and being the best version of yourself. It was absolutely brilliant. Actually, I'll send a link for that, which is on YouTube. But today, because I didn't do a very long run yesterday, I had loads of energy today on my 5K run. I couldn't run very fast at the start because it was pitch black. It was damp. It's a bit muddy in some fields when I first start, but as soon as I was on the tarmac again, I was off. And excuse me. So I felt loads of energy. So I feel like I'm getting back to sub 4-minute kilometers, which is where I want to be. And in fact, I'm going to have to get close to doing that over a half marathon to break the 3 hour 10-minute marathon that I want to do on April the 1st. Again, for those of you who want to follow me on Strava, it is Mark Roderick, that's Roderick, or on Peloton, it is Mark in India. I was having a think this morning about what stops people from running, and I think there are a few reasons. There's clearly physical reasons. Some people just can't run, so they will find some other form of exercise, get the heart going and clear the mind. I think there are those people who haven't trained for years, and when they start training they pick up an injury, or they're on-off trainers and they'll hurt the knee or hamstring, something like that. I think a lot of injuries aren't caused by lots of running. I mean, I've had only one injury recently, which is when I changed my gait. But other than that, I've had 0 injuries throughout my running career. And I think that's because I'm consistent and run all the time, and my knees and my joints and my bones have adapted to that. So I never get injured. But people who start, they tend to get injured. And I think it's more underuse than overuse. So you've got to build up gradually. I'd always say that. But I think the biggest reason why people don't run, I think like most things in life, is because they're afraid of what other people think. So I run at a local running group called the Woodford Warriors. I have so many people who say to me, I'd love to join you. When do you start? So the first thing is, I think a lot of people don't want to get out of bed early in the morning. I think it's a waste of a day, but people probably think a line's not a waste of a day. So just different mindset. A lot of people also are very, very embarrassed. I don't want to slow you down. I sweat a lot. Do you mind if we walk? And they have this mental perception. Now, I do invite anyone to join the run, even if it's slow or walking or it's a walk, jog, run. Just get out and eventually you'll start jogging, then running. But people can't get over this mindset of how will I look to others. And I have to be honest, I don't want to sound sexist. It's more women than men, but It's almost like they feel embarrassed. What if other people see them run and they're not very good, or they look sweaty, or what will people think if I look overweight in my running kit? And quite frankly, the only way to get over that is to get out and run, because eventually you will get quicker, you will start losing weight, you will start looking good. But like most things in life, when you go for a run, most people do not care. I mean, I cannot remember the last person I saw run. I wouldn't recognise them in the street unless it's a person I pass on a frequent basis. I probably wouldn't recognise them outside of their gym kit. So I know it's easier said than done, but you've got to get over this mindset, like with many things in life, about what will other people think. You've almost got to say, I don't care what other people think, and I'm going to run anyway. You know, this can be applied to many areas. Doing a presentation, you know, if you stand up there, people are so self-conscious. I'm beyond that. I'm not that way inclined at all now. But I've told myself not to be. And when I go for a run, I'll be honest with you, people look at me on the start line. I'm not in fantastic gear. I don't wear the latest trends. I've got a nice pair of trainers, but I've got an old pair of white socks from M&S. I run in swimming shorts, which a lot of people laugh at, but they've got inbuilt comfort for a man, I think, and they're very lightweight. I wear old t-shirts, I wear a cap, I wear big sunglasses to stop getting old in the sun. Not really working, but you know, I try my best. But you know, when I went to the Chester Zoo race a few weeks ago, I was stood next to all these people, and they were in the most immaculate gear. And here was me. I looked like I'd fallen out the back of a truck. I'm immaculate in all other aspects outside of running, but do you know what? I didn't care, and I was still a good runner. So you've got to get over this this inertia, or this mental block of, how do I look? Who cares? Get out there, get fit. You'll feel so much better. You'll feel mentally cleansed at the end of it. And in a year's time, mentally and physically, if you run every day and you're not a runner at the minute, you will be unrecognisable. That's my message for today. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.